Today we'll talk about the classified research program dedicated to the study of the UFO phenomenon in the Soviet Union, known by its code name Setka, meaning net. This project operated from 1978 to 1991. The decision to include the topic, investigation of anomalous atmospheric and cosmic phenomena, their causes, and their impact on the performance of military technical equipment and personnel in the State Plan for Defense-Related Scientific Research was prompted by the events of September 20th, 1977, which later became known as the Petrozavodsk Phenomenon. The program was divided into two parallel streams, Setka-MO, under the control of Ministry of Defense. Setka-MO focused on studying anomalous atmospheric and cosmic phenomena and their influence on the functioning of military technology and the well-being of personnel. Setka-AN, under the control of Academy of Sciences of USSR, concentrated on investigating the physical nature and development mechanisms of anomalous atmospheric and cosmic phenomena. The primary distinction between these two branches lay in their data sources. The Ministry of Defense analyzed observation reports from various branches of the armed forces, while the Academy of Sciences collected information from scientific organizations, the State Hydrometeorological Service, and the editorial offices of newspapers and magazines, among others. Naturally, their objectives also differed. For the military, a key goal was to ascertain the potential impact of UFOs on equipment performance and personnel. The Academy of Sciences, on the other hand, prioritized researching the physical nature of these anomalous phenomena. Due to the clandestine nature of this work, its coverage in the mass media was highly restricted. Furthermore, any publications on UFOs were recommended for review by the USSR Academy of Sciences. In essence, any mention of UFOs in the press or on television that hinted at the possibility of extraterrestrial life forms was subjected to severe censorship, leaving authors of such materials with virtually no chance of getting their articles published. Now, let's talk about what files this classified project called Setka contained. We present to your attention several cases that became the object of the research Setka. In June 1979, several crafts of unknown origin and design reportedly landed near the town of Derzhavinskis in the Turgai region of the Kazakh Soviet Socialist Republic. Their crews spent over a day on the ground, conducting reconnaissance and some form of research, all without causing any harm to people. This is how one of the most unusual reports in the Setka-AN project begins. Around 20 people, primarily children and 2 adults, witnessed this phenomenon. The incident took place at the Berezka Pioneer Camp, located about 20 kilometers from the city in a birch grove, towards the end of June. The day before the first camp session closed, the children went to a hill about 3 to 4 kilometers from the camp. The children began to shout each other's names in unison. After the last name was called out, they suddenly noticed a group of 4 people who appeared very strange from a human perspective. They were over 2 meters tall and dressed in unusual suits. Upon seeing them, the children screamed and fled in terror towards the camp. Their camp counselor was with them. Looking back, the children saw that one of these beings was following them, but it turned back before reaching the camp's perimeter. Gathering their courage, the children began to shout and call out to it, but it continued to walk away, only looking back once. Then, the entire group of these beings suddenly began to disappear, as if gradually sinking into the ground. But the matter didn't end there. The next day, Yuri Dobrovolsky, the director of the pioneer camp, tried to call the police to report the incident, but he couldn't get through because the phones were dead. They also attempted to use radios, but the connection was jammed. Following this, a camp representative was sent by car to the town center to notify the police about the incident. The police arrived at the pioneer camp and asked Dobrovolsky to show them the location where the unidentified tall individuals, or humanoids, had been. Dobrovolsky led the officers to the spot, which was near an artificially planted forest. Beyond this wooded area, they found 2 unknown objects, smooth and resembling dirigibles. The police officers were shocked by what they saw. Unable to react themselves, they dispatched one officer to Astana to report the matter directly to the Ministry of Internal Affairs. Astana was 280 miles from the camp. However, by the time additional units arrived from Astana, the objects and the 4 humanoids were no longer there. Nevertheless, after a group of researchers arrived at the scene, they managed to not only gather the names of everyone involved in this incredible story, but also to collect additional, seemingly fantastic facts. They were able to identify the main witnesses: Natalia Petrovna Kolmikova, pioneer leader; Rima Fyodorovna Rakimova, paramedic; Gazis Rakimov, students from Krupskaya Dzerzhavinsk Secondary School; Sveta Dobrovolskaya, daughter of the school director; Sergei Kravtsov, Marina Sudorikova, Alexei Dmitriev, and so on. The KGB categorically demanded that witnesses to this fact not discuss it anywhere with anyone. Now, let's discuss another astonishing phenomenon, quite similar to the one you just heard about. In 1981, an incident occurred in the western part of Soviet Georgia, witnessed by approximately 30 people. Georgia is home to an incredible mountain called Khvamli Mountain. It's a truly mystical place, not just in Georgia, but I can confidently say, across the entire planet. High up on this mountain, there are enormous rooms carved into the rock face at a significant altitude. According to scientists and historians, these rooms were created about 1,200 years ago. However, to this day, no one has an explanation for how these rooms were carved 120 meters above the ground 1,200 years ago. This remains a great mystery, not only for scientists, but also for climbers. Even today, with modern technology, climbers find it an extremely difficult task to carve rooms into the rock face at such a height. The mountain itself, where the rooms are carved, is quite inaccessible. Now, let's move directly to the event that was recorded on this mountain. On July 3, 1981, at 8 p.m., the residents of the small village of Derchi witnessed a strange light above the mountain. An unidentified light appeared above the mountain and didn't move at all. It seemed to be suspended in the sky. Almost every resident of Derchi witnessed this phenomenon. Khvamli Mountain is located about 3 miles from the village, and the entire mountain is quite visible from there. Initially, the villagers thought it was simply a helicopter. However, suddenly this light disappeared behind the mountain with incredible speed. The villagers didn't understand what had happened. Some thought the helicopter had crashed. Approximately 12 people set out from the village on horseback toward the mountain. When they approached the mountain, they split into 2 groups. 6 men ascended the mountain, while the other 6 circled the mountain from behind. When the first group reached the back of the mountain, there were no signs of an air crash. Neither did the second group find anything. All 12 villagers gathered at the spot where they had divided for the search. Then they decided to ascend the mountain together again and search as one group. There were no traces of a crash, no smoke visible anywhere. The group was quite bewildered and decided to return to the village. During their descent, the horses panicked. 3 group members fell from their horses and sustained injuries. Several horses ran away. The villagers, without their horses, couldn't return to the village, so they decided to search for them. After 2 hours, they finally found the horses in the forest, still high up on the mountain. Suddenly, out of nowhere, 2 people emerged from the forest, strangely dressed. According to the eyewitnesses, these 2 individuals had metal-like backpacks on their backs. Also, one of them was holding a round device that emitted a strange sound. The group members froze on the spot, bewildered and unsure what to do. One of the figures approached them and told them not to be afraid, assuring them they had no hostile intentions toward the villagers. According to Georgy Delakishvili, one of the villagers present, these 2 individuals spoke to them in fluent Georgian. However, their appearance was not Georgian. These 2 mysterious individuals stayed there for only 2 or 3 minutes. They didn't talk much about anything. They simply calmed all 12 villagers and categorically demanded that they not follow them back. 10 minutes later, a fast-moving unidentified flying object, approximately 30 meters in diameter, suddenly ascended into the sky. It paused for a few seconds and then sped off rapidly to the north. The group of 12 villagers then headed back to the village. They recounted this story to the rest of the villagers. Some believed it, others didn't. Soon, the story spread to other villages and also reached officials in the city of Chayatura, a regional center. Almost the entire village population was questioned. The 12 individuals were taken to the capital of Georgia, Tbilisi, for interrogation. All 12 were questioned by KGB officers. They were also told that they should not discuss this incident with anyone from that point onward. 2 days later, all 12 individuals were released and sent home. To this day, It remains unexplained what phenomenon the residents of Derchi village encountered.